What ho chaps, how the devil? Right, I was listening to Peter Hitchens on Talk Radio and he mentioned the Amnesty International report on Covid-19 handling by the UK government. He was questioned about it and he just said, oh, Google it and look into it. Promptly did that. So I thought I'd make a video about it, try and disseminate this information more widely because it needs to be read. However, before I start and crack on with that, I'm just going to cover this briefly because it's linked to what I've been talking about over the last few days. Priti Patel said, a disgusting attack on two of our incredible police officers. I struggle to comprehend how anyone could commit such an act. My thoughts are with these brave officers during this difficult time. I stand ready to offer Northants Police any support they need. Right? Really bizarre how the Home Secretary, again, they really look after their own, don't they? We don't see this type of rhetoric when we have, I don't know, 500,000 children get shagged senseless by burly, swarthy foreign men. Yeah, you don't get any harsh condemnation of that. You just get cover-ups and, you know, talking about the Sikhs or something. But this, she felt the urge to tweet about it. And what really did amuse me was the response of Northants Police. Obviously, they're angry that some of their officers got assaulted. I don't think officers should be getting assaulted either. And if they were stricter with crime across the board, like people like me have been advocating for many years, instead of slapping people on the wrist when they punch a policeman in the face, maybe we should be locking them up. But we won't talk about that. We all know why they don't want to get tough on crime, and it's because if you're a certain colour, they don't want to enforce the law properly, so you can break a copper's jaw and you'll just get a slap on the wrist. But I won't talk about that right now. I just want to chuckle at this tweet. Look at this. Police officers do not come to work to be assaulted. It is not part of the job and never will be. It isn't. It's not part of the job, is it? Well then, pray tell, whose job is it? Whose job is it? 2020 is clown world. We really have become Demolition Man. What once was comedy is now reality.
We're police officers. We're not trained to handle this kind of violence.
You can't make it up, can you? You can't make it up. Remember the good old days when coppers used to, you know, you watch the Sherlock Holmes TV shows and there were always burly blokes with truncheons chasing violent criminals about. If police officers don't go to work expecting to have to deal with violent criminals, who is supposed to deal with them? Are we supposed to send, what, security guards out with the police officers so that they can deal with the violent criminals and the police officers just deal with paperwork? What planet are these people on? That's like me when I got sent to Afghanistan saying, whoa, I didn't join the Royal Marines to have to deal with people shooting at me. It's in your job description. You might as well be a window cleaner and refuse to get wet. Fuck me. What next? Bin men refusing to empty bins? Unbelievable. Queen of the Scissors, Cressida, has turned the Met into an absolute joke, but it looks like Northants Police has followed suit, and now everyone who works for the police is just a little fat midget that wants to dance at the LGBT parades and fucking shuffle papers all day. It really does. I don't know what we're going to do. What we're going to do? Set up a new division? The policers? Get them to deal with violent criminals who don't want to go to court and don't want to go to jail, because guess what? Most of them don't. Criminals don't like going to court. They won't happily follow you in there. They don't happily walk to the cells like a golden retriever, sniffing at your heels when you want to arrest these people. It's unbelievable. And even that wouldn't work, would it? Because if we formed a new fucking division of the civil service, the police officer policers, to go out and deal with the violent criminals, then what would the hashtag be in a couple of years' time when they got unionised and they said they were not there to deal with people assaulting them? Would the next hashtag be protect the protectors that protect the protectors? Is that what we're going to do? Just an endless and infinite regress? Who protects the police officers? Going to hire people to protect the police officers from the criminals, and then we're going to have to hire people to protect the police officers that protect the police officers, and it's just going to go back forever until fucking Robocop's out on patrol. Ed 209. Let's get Mr. Dyson to invent Ed 209. Job done. So there's that. I don't want to go on about it, but it doesn't warrant a second video. It's just comical. On to what I wanted to talk about. This really is damning stuff. Damning stuff, and it's just more arrows for my bow, because I've been whinging about coronavirus since March. Findings are as follows. UK older people in care homes abandoned to die amid government failures during Covid-19 pandemic. Starts off nicely. Let's continue. Key failings included decisions to discharge thousands of untested hospital patients into care homes and imposition of blanket DNRs. Care home managers and staff were left without guidance, PPE or any access to testing, and Amnesty calls for a full independent public inquiry to commence immediately. Yep, I'm with you boys, because we know what I feel about Boris Johnson by now. Boris Johnson, the fat albino jellyfish, if he got an arsehole transplant, the arsehole would reject him. That is how much of a twat Boris Johnson is at this point. It says a series of shockingly irresponsible decisions put tens of thousands of people's lives at risk and led to multiple violations of care home residents' human rights. It did a 50-page report entitled As If Expendable. Oof. And not the good type with Sylvester Stallone. It says between 2nd of March and 12th of June, nearly 30,000 excess deaths were recorded, with over 18,500 care home residents confirmed to have died with Covid-19. Managers and staff described a complete breakdown of systems in the first 6 weeks of the pandemic response. Complete breakdown. Boom. Didn't get any guidance, no access to PPE, no testing, despite having to manage infected patients urgently discharged from hospitals. It is the mother of all fuck-ups. Most shockingly, on 17th of March, 4 days after the World Health Organization declared it a global pandemic, the government ordered the discharge of 25,000 patients from hospitals into care homes, including those infected or possibly infected with Covid-19. You know what? After the WHO says, shit, it's a global pandemic, and you know that the most at-risk people are the elderly, who the fuck, who, other than Terry Fuckwit himself, would then discharge all the patients into the care homes? Like, quick, the elderly are fucked, get them all in the care homes. Isn't the hospital the best place for them? And the hospitals were never full anyway, so they didn't need to fucking throw them out of the hospitals. That was just insane panic paranoia on behalf of the government. On the 2nd of April, even worse, the government reiterated its guidance and said negative tests are not required prior to transfers into the care homes. Don't. In fact, that wasn't good enough. You do it, Homer. Absolutely shocking. Several care home managers told Amnesty that they had no Covid-19 patients in their homes until after they received them discharged from hospital. The manager of a care home in Yorkshire said, because of what we witnessed in Spain and Italy, we stopped visitors on the 28th of February. We had no cases until the 28th of March, a whole month, when a resident was discharged from hospital with Covid. Fuck me backwards. The government made a series of shockingly irresponsible decisions which abandoned care home residents to die. The appalling death toll was entirely avoidable. It is a scandal of monumental proportions. Holy shit balls. You couldn't make it up, could you? Anyway, I don't want to just sit here and read the whole thing to you, but I implore you to go and check it out. I'm going to put a link in the comments. Please go and have a look at it. And honestly, I'm being serious. I think if you have elderly relatives or anyone who did die in a care home of Covid, you should explore your options, get a fucking lawyer, and speak to them about suing the state, because they're responsible for this. And I'm not happy with it. Usually I don't like people chasing ambulances, but when it's as glaringly obvious as that. It's like I said about the Manchester bombing. People need to be made to pay for this stupidity. If a blind man could see that giving asylum to a known terrorist is a great risk to the fucking community, and the government lets them in anyway, they need to be held accountable. And the only thing they do seem to care about is their purse strings. So look into it, seriously, because the whole thing from top to bottom in this report is an absolute scandal, and these dopey twats need to be held accountable. So check the comment, check the footnotes. I'll put the report in there, plus the link to the 50-page one. It's fascinating reading, and I urge you to check it out. Boris Johnson. What a clown. I wouldn't trust the fat albino to run a lemonade stand, let alone a bastard country. Holy shit.